Estamos haciendo desayuno. Adelaide está haciendo, ¿qué cosa es?
Fluffy pancakes.
Fluffy pancakes. Lo vamos a ver cómo queda eso. Nunca he comido esto, pero bueno. ¿Eso qué cosa es? Huevo. Oh, ya.
Esa pronunciación de Xiomara es el primer grado de inglés nada más.
Y nada, vamos a desayunar ahorita. Ya la chinita comió.
Okay, so we're setting up here in the kitchen because we need a big table to be able to show you guys how we cut the tulle for the ribbon trim tutu. But in the meantime, show you guys what's going on with how my parents make the baby's food. So right now they're drying, ¿qué es esto? Pumpkin seeds.
Sí.
¿Semillas de qué?
De calabaza.
Pumpkin seeds to grow pumpkins in the...
Calabaza.
Oh, to grow squash. So these are squash seeds.
Este es squash.
Squash and pumpkin.
Pumpkin.
So they're drying them out to grow these in our garden. And then this is all of the food prep for the baby's baby food. It's gonna make a lot of food. A lot of this they're gonna freeze for later dates. So they're gonna make it in portions. But everything is organic and non-GMO. And she's the only one that eats this food. So we eat, you know, whatever, but clearly we eat anything. Okay? Okay, we're gonna be doing a purple tutu, and it's gonna be a size 5T, and I will list below I'm gonna list below what you have to cut for different sizes, of course, but in this case we're gonna be cutting a 5T. You're gonna need 12 yards of purple, not purple, any color, of tulle. And then when you cut the 12 yards, you cut to 22 inches so that when you fold it in half, it's 11 inches long. I'll show you what that means, but just go thinking about that for a second. Okay, so what she's doing right now is she's evening out this edge here so that it's perfectly even, because when they roll these up, they don't roll them up very well. So that's what she's doing. So she's gonna cut 6 yards first, and then another 6 yards, because you know the 5T that I just said takes 12 yards of tulle. So she needs to cut, she's gonna divide that in half and cut 6, and then cut another 6 yards. Okay, so now she's cutting the 6 yards, and then she's gonna cut another 6 once she folds this up. Now you're gonna fold it so that it's as even as possible. At least try to make it very, very even on one side. She's focusing on making it more even on this side. Porque tú vas a cortar ese lado.
Porque voy a cortar después a 22 para que me quede largo 11.
Right.
Pero como es tanto lo que voy a picar, so tengo que tratar de que me quede para lo
So
que
she's trying to make it even here so that later she's gonna cut 22 inches lengthwise so that when she folds it to make the tutu, it's 11 inches long.
Yeah.
So to make it easier, I would just cut one side like a little bit off and then measure it again on this and just cut to 22 inches. That way you're not calculating how much you have to cut off on each side.
Yeah. Oh.
So when you fold it, it should measure 11 inches. She said that you can use 11 yards, but she likes to use 12 so that the tutu comes up extra poofy. I prefer the tutus to look poofier. I think that they look much prettier than the ones that look kind of like dead and have no volume. So she's basically repeating everything that we just did for another 6 yards. The tulle that we use is double, has double layer. So if you get one that's only one layer, it's not gonna come up as So the next step now is you have that long strip and you're going to fold it end to end. And you're gonna have basically 4 layers now of tulle. One side is going to be open and the other side is going to be bend, like, or folded, I guess. This is the side that you cannot, let me focus 1 second. A ver, ponlo aquí. This side, the side that has no free, the side that has no free edge, this is the side that the elastic is going to go in. And then this side that has all of the open cut layers, there should be 4 layers, is going to have the ribbon. Okay. So basically right now what she's going to do is she's going to sew the part that's folded, which is that side where the elastic is going to go through. She's gonna sew, if you can see where that screw is, where her finger is, that screw, she's gonna try to maintain the tulle there so that it gives her about 1 inch. That way we can fit this elastic inside once she sews it. Now basically what she's doing is she's holding it, and every time that she sews a little bit, she holds onto it and she evens out each end to make sure that when she sews it, it sews even and nothing is like folded like unevenly. So you see how she's evening it out?
So así van cosiendo.
Now is she's getting to the end and she's cutting off a piece just to even it out, because as much as you try, it still comes out a little bit uneven. So just so that you get a nice crisp end to the tutu, she just cuts off like maybe ½ inch. So then once she finishes sewing it, she looks at it again, and if it's still a little bit uneven, she cuts it again and makes sure that it's even. Déjame verlo, enséñalo a la cámara. No, así. So see how you get like this crisp end to it? It's not perfect, but by you doing that, it makes it so that it's a little bit easier when you're putting the ribbon and the elastic. And I'll also list down below all of the where I get the tulle and where I get the ribbon, etc.
So ahora lo viramos así.
So what she just did right now is she flipped it so that now you have the part that she sewed on this side and you have the layered part on that side. So that's the side that you can open. The side that you can open up like this that has different layers. This is the side that you now want to sew, that you want to put the ribbon on. Sorry, Mom. What she is going to do is she's going to get all 4 layers and she's going to sew it onto the ribbon. So you want to make sure that all 4 layers are being sewn onto the ribbon. So if you see that a little bit of excess is out, feel free to leave that there, because then what you can do is you can just trim off all of those pieces once it's sewn on there. She uses this piece here as a guide to make sure that she's sewing the ribbon on evenly. That way once the tutu is done, it looks professionally finished, or perfect. The footer, she is putting it this edge, she is evening it out with the ribbon so that it comes out even. You want to make sure that this edge is always at the edge with the ribbon as you're sewing, so that you get a nice clean line once you're sewing onto the ribbon. So she just kind of burned the edge of the ribbon a little bit, just so that it doesn't fray with use. And she's gonna do the same thing she did earlier, where she cuts a little bit of the edge to make sure that it's even.
Eso nos va a
No
quedar.
está cosiendo.
Ah, se nos acabó el hilo abajo.
No creo que no cosió.
Se nos acabó el hilo abajo. ¿De cuándo? Oh my god. Oh my god. Ah, desde aquí. No me había dado cuenta. Otras veces estoy pendiente, pero no me di cuenta. Dios mío. Te alcanza muy lindo ahí.
So now that she finished putting the ribbon, she's gonna flip it over and she's going to cut the tulle all along. This cut all along, that way she double makes sure that there's no tulle coming out so that the tutu looks perfect underneath. A lot of people don't do this step, but we feel like it's important because, believe it or not, the tulle, when it comes out even just a little bit, you tend to see it and it just makes it look unfinished. And this just gives it that little extra that it needs. In this case, you're going to need 20 inches of elastic, and this is the 3/4 of an inch of elastic. So 3/4 of an inch of elastic for this particular tutu. This is the one that we prefer. You can use 1 inch, 1.5 inch, whatever you prefer. And then you need 2 safety pins, 1 for each side of the elastic. So when you're running it through, one of them you have to put it horizontally like this. You're gonna put it horizontally, and then the other one you're gonna put it vertically. The reason that you're doing this is the one that's vertical is gonna allow you to pull the elastic through the tutu, and then the one that's horizontal is gonna stop the elastic on the other side so it doesn't go through. So you're going to make sure that it's going through the middle. You're gonna have 2 layers. Well, it's gonna have 4 layers, but you want to make sure that it's in between, that it's 2 layers on each side when you're pulling it through. So now you're gonna put the 2 elastics together and you're gonna sew them, and you want to make sure, okay, you want to make sure that the ribbon, the satin part, is facing the right direction. We use single face ribbon. It's just a little bit more inexpensive. You can also use double face, but you want to make sure that you're sewing the tutu closed on the wrong side, and that you want to make sure that you're sewing the tutu closed on the side where the satin ribbon is facing, not on the side where there's the tulle and like the rough edge. Okay, so she's gonna sew a stitch here and a stitch a stitch here and a stitch here. So if you can see, this is where the elastic is, and this is where the other end of the elastic is. So you want to sew a straight line here and a straight line here.
Le vamos a dar varias veces para que quede bien seguro y no vaya a romperse.
Okay. She sews it a couple times back and forth, as you can see. That way it makes it really strong, and you can use the tutu multiple times. as you can see how she stitched it like this on each end of the elastic. She put the elastic about a whole inch into each other. So she sewed on each edge. That way it's really, really strong, and with use it doesn't come undone or anything. So now she's just adjusting it and moving the tutu around so that it's even everywhere. So now you're gonna take a glue gun and you're gonna join the edges together, because you know how we did 2 pieces of 6 yards each. You're gonna want to join those 2 pieces like that, and you want to do it the same exact way that my mom just did it right there. That way it looks like a sewn seam, and it joins once the two, you know how Tutu does these little waves, that'll hide and you won't see that. This is good also, this technique is really good also for multicolored tutus. So if you want to do a tutu that's multicolored, like purple and blue, purple, blue, yellow, whatever, that's how you would join the edges together. We're gonna use 28 inches. She uses a lot just so that it's easier. Once you put it onto the tutu, you can cut any excess. I would use this exact same size for mainly all the sizes. This you can kind of play around with. If it's a lot smaller size, you can do 20 inches, 22 inches. But in this case, we're going to be using 28 inches because it's a 5T.
Okay, vamos a ponerlo así.
And then this is how you would do the bow. Hazlo de nuevo, hazlo de nuevo. You're gonna get a needle and thread.
Lo vamos a poner por aquí.
You're gonna sew through.
Vamos a jalar.
And you're gonna pull out the needle and wrap it around the middle of the bow, so that it cinches and then it creates the bow. So now she's just sewing it through the back and looping it through, just for extra security. In case you're wondering, this is a 1.5 inch ribbon. I don't think I mentioned that this ribbon and the ribbon that we're using is a 1.5 inch ribbon, ¿verdad?
Sí.
And so now you're gonna use a 1/2 inch ribbon for the center of this bow. So we keep 1/2 inch sizes of all the ribbon trim that we use. That way it's much easier to use in the center of the bows.
So, así es como yo lo hago. Ustedes lo pueden hacer de la manera que para ustedes sea más cómodo. Yo lo pego aquí, le doy la vuelta.
So as you just saw, she put a little dot of glue on the front, on the back of the bow, on the back, and then she looped it around, and she's gonna loop it around twice. This is the front of the bow. And then she's gonna put another dot of glue and close it up.
Okay.
And then obviously you can cut the excess.
Okay.
This is the ribbon that we use for the center. This is 3/8. No es media pulgada. It's 3/8 inch ribbon. So you have both of them here. These are the ribbons that we use, and then these are the other ribbons. These are the other ribbons that we have here. And then over there we have the coordinating 3/8 inch ribbons. We always have a matching one just so that it's easier. So now we're going to be putting the bow in the place where we stitched off.
Donde habíamos
The
cosido.
place where we stitched closed
Look.
the tutu. The reason that we're going to do this is just to avoid from anybody seeing where we stitched it. So we're going to put a little dot of glue. Well, obviously not a dot. We're going to put a lot of glue in the back of the bow. We're going to put a lot of glue on the back of the bow, and then, like we said, we're going to glue it in the place that we closed the tutu off. So now she's going to cut off the excess. You can cut it to where you want. We like it like about halfway to the tutu. But again, you can cut it however you want. And then she's going to burn the edges. And again, if you guys are interested in shopping our products, I'll leave our Etsy shop listed down below. It's etsy.com/shop/Little Alessia Co.
So
And that's how it looks. So now she puts it on the mannequin, as you just saw. The reason she does this is she likes to make sure that everything is perfect, that it's perfect underneath, all of the edges look good, and just double checking everything. We want it to get to the customer perfect with no defects or anything, so that's what we do. And then once we just QC it and it's ready to go, we pack it up. Now it's good. Okay, so that is the end of our video. You might have heard my mom and you might have heard me because we filmed this video in English and in Spanish. So if you guys are Spanish speakers and prefer to listen to this video in Spanish, be sure to go to my mom's channel and watch the video in Spanish. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like the video down below if you liked it, and to subscribe to, well, now our channel, to enjoy more videos on our business and how much it's growing and the orders that we do and pack.
Espero les haya gustado el video de hoy, el tutu, y nos vemos en la próxima.
Di bye!
Subscribe.
Bye! Alessia, di bye!
Bye.
Can you say bye? Di bye!
Bye.
Alessia, mira. Alessia, di bye. Mira.
Bye.
Bye. Can you say bye bye?
Cualquier pregunta que tengan, pues nos dejan un comentario abajo y con gusto le vamos a decir lo que ustedes quieran saber.
Adiós.